330,000 kills. That's how many combined kills the number 1 Rampart and number 1 Mad Maggie have in Apex. They're here to show you their gameplay stats, settings, and of course, share with you their biggest tips and tricks for their legends. So, let's do it!
I ain't slept in months, y'all. I so red I can't see what's real. Roll me up a blunt, dog.
First up, we have the number 1 Mad Maggie in the world, Falco Scott. He has almost 110,000 kills on her. So, let's go find out all his secrets to Mad Maggie. Oh, and here are his socials. Go follow him. First question, arguably the most important question. The new perk system was added recently, so how do you level up her perks? What's the best way to level her perks in your opinion?
I think her perks were stuff she needed. But typically, I mean, obviously, if you're running a shotgun, I always select the auto reload, auto knock, and then if I just happen to be running SMG that game, then I'll just run the fireball, which is also really great. And then for her tack, I personally like the 2 tacks. I like having a tack at all times. I think it's her best tool. The tack with the greater range is really nice, but I also take more damage from it when I used it a lot, just by pushing things, and I was a bigger fan of the 2 tack.
I guess the 2 tack kind of gives you so many more options to like hold corners and, you know, block off multiple angles and stuff and push people out of cover.
Even when, like, let's just say someone takes cover behind a box or something, because normally if you tack it, they just move to the next object. Well, when you have 2 tacks, you have twice the time to shoot them while they're moving from each object. So I tend to get more knocks that way.
Yeah, no, definitely. That's super strong. What do you think about Maggie overall at the moment? Do you think she needed the buff she got? Do you think she's too strong now? What are your thoughts there?
I think she's in a really great place. I don't think she's broken. She can be an annoying legend in the right hands, but I don't think she's like... I think she's like an A-tier legend is where I'd put her.
Okay, fair. Yeah, I agree with that, to be honest. What weapons would you recommend to use on Maggie?
Well, her big thing is obviously shotguns. It works with her passive, like Mastiff PK. The Eva right now in the care package is really strong. And then I mean, it depends on your play style, but for me, I like having some range because a lot of people like to, you know, snipe and stuff. So like a Hemlock, L-Star is really nice to pair with the shotgun. Just anything you can cover far and mid-range with some hip fire, you know?
Yeah, no, I was saying that I completely agree.
And then for the people that don't like shotguns, strong SMGs like the Volt, Prowler are really good right now. You can still get in people's faces and cause a lot of damage quickly. So that's always a good, you know, another option for people that don't like shotguns.
Yeah, definitely. But would you say the shotguns are almost a must to know, or do you think you can switch it out pretty easily for another weapon?
I think it's interchangeable. It's not necessary. Like, me personally, I don't even like shotguns that much. If you like ever hop in my stream, you'll see I'm always like with an SMG. It's just more consistent just for me to put more damage out that way.
Yeah, no, that's completely fair. Well, you did just mention playstyles, so is there a certain playstyle that you should have with Maggie? Is she like a super aggressive legend, or how would you describe her playstyle? Quickly, before the number 1 Maggie explains the best playstyle for her and also shares his biggest secret tips and tricks with us, let's have a look at his stats. So here we go. Overall, you can see he has 170k kills on his account. 110,000 of those being on Maggie. He has multiple pred badges, almost 7,000 kills on Maggie, 44,000 games played in total, 10,000 wins in total. What's that? He wins 1 in 4 games? That's pretty insane. Highest kills ever was 35. You can see also here he's showing us his season 16 stats, which was his biggest kill grind season ever, where he got 30,000 kills on Maggie. Only at a highest 19 though, no 20 bomb that season. Rest in peace. Then he's also showed us one of his ranked grind seasons where he got pred in both splits. He was number 99 pred and pred 747. Ooh, that one was close. 3 KD and 1000 ADR in rank. That's pretty insane, to be honest. Pretty nuts. Also, a pretty good win rate there with 900 games played, 200 wins. That's all in rank. Pretty insane. Now, let's go back to the gameplay, and soon I'll show you all his controller settings and give you his top tips and tricks.
I don't think she's like the entry fragger, right? So like, cause the thing with Maggie is if you're the first one in a fight, you're not gonna get out of that. Like, you're not like Wraith or Octane or Pathy Rev where you can just tack your way out of there. But once you're in the fight with Maggie, you're in there. So I always play her like more mid-range, and then like the second we either fry someone or we get a knock, then I'm in their faces. But being the first one in there isn't always the best option, just because, like I said, a lot of times you'll just get stuck and you'll get knocked if you can't get out.
I never really thought about it, because if you just look at Maggie on the top level, you'd think that she is like the entry fragger, the one that goes in first. But when you think about it, all her value really comes from like not being the entry fragger and having time to be alive, sitting back, having the chance to use her tactical to push people out of cover, having the chance to use her ball like when needed.
She's a great disruption character, so just staying alive and causing as much annoyance as possible with her tack and ult is really great for the team.
Okay, well, how about what legends is she best to get? What legends does she counter the most? So I'm going to assume there's going to be like, Rampart, Newcastle.
Yeah, anything that can set up. So like Caustic she's really great against. Catalyst.
But quickly,
Rampart.
when she balls a caustic trap, does it fully break the trap? Do you know?
Yeah, so okay, let's say that he's holding a room with 3 traps. It goes straight through the trap and completely breaks it, and if it touches all the other traps, they'll break as well. It's really great against defensive legends.
And of course, you can use your tactical to break all that kind of stuff as well.
Yeah, same thing.
And you were saying earlier, actually, Conduit and Conduit's ult?
Yeah, so if like, you know how Conduit's ult lines up in a line, if you were to throw it straight on it, it'll break every single. If people didn't know, if you tack a door, it won't break the door, it'll just crack it, for those that don't know. So if you don't upgrade it, it'll break the door, but because the 2 tack, it takes 25% duration away from the tack, it's not enough to break the full door, so it'll just leave it cracked. The big tack will break it still, but the 2 tack specifically won't break the door fully.
What do you think about the fact that it highlights enemies for a little bit when you shoot them? Do you think that's crazy strong?
Oh, I think it's really good. I like it. Just even just that split second, it shows which direction they're going after you've damaged them. Helps so much. It gives you a lot of information.
I feel like that's something that literally everyone that plays Maggie or doesn't play Maggie forgets about. They just forget that exists. It's so strong.
Yeah,
so
just especially against like Bangalores and stuff like that in smoke. It's so nice to just see that extra like second of where they're going or whatever.
Yeah, definitely. Are there any legends that counter Maggie?
Not specifically, no. Just because, like I said, she's more of a disruption character, but I don't think anything is really a hard counter to her. Yeah, I've never had like an issue with specific legends that'll just like constantly kill me or like, grief me. I mean, other Maggies, but besides that, I don't.
Alright, I'm going to ask you for your tips and tricks in a second, but first off, the most important question, if Maggie gets an heirloom, what should it be?
I've always said a baseball bat with spikes. If you've watched like The Walking Dead, like Lucille, that type of thing, or like with barbed wire on it. But I heard they're scrapping that, so we'll see.
Oh, really?
We'll see if the rumors are true. Yeah, I heard they're scrapping all individual heirlooms, and they're just gonna stick to the universal one. So I don't think she'll be getting one, unfortunately.
We'll see. Alright, so what are your top tips for Maggie then? Your top, say, three tips or so.
3 tips. Alright, first one is just learn her tack. That's her best tool. I find that like I'll switch up a legend, I'll play a different legend, and just the ability to tack a door is like the best thing in the world. It makes fights so much faster. You get free knocks with it, but just learn the surfaces of like objects too, because sometimes if you tack an object, it won't, like certain rocks that are shaped weird, it won't go all the way through if you don't place it properly. But just little things with that. And then like tip 2 with her ult, just be careful, be mindful of your teammates with it. I've knocked teammates off the map, I've knocked myself off the map. It's very temperamental. Sometimes it does amazing things, and other times it'll just grief your team. So just be careful with her ult. And then let's see, tip 3. Ooh. Just have fun. I don't know. She's a fun legend. Anytime I recommend Maggie to anyone, they have a blast playing her. If they don't typically play her, she's just a super fun legend.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, and a couple of questions about you then. How did you originally get into maining Maggie? What was your reason for that? Why did you decide to kill grind her?
So before I started maining Maggie, I actually only played rank. Like I specifically only played rank, but rank got really old, and it was the system. They kept changing the systems, and I wasn't a fan. So I decided to change it up and kill grind for a season, and Maggie just happened to come out that season, and here I am, 100 and almost 10k kills later.
I vibe that. Do you have any other plans going into the future with Maggie, or any other legends, or do you want to get back into ranked, or any plans for the future?
I want to transition back into ranked. I just, it's just a big time consumption. You got to play a lot for that if like you want to hold pred. But no, I don't have anything specific planned. I probably just keep maining here. I like having my title.
Yeah, it is good. Actually, I haven't mentioned this, and I was going to earlier, and I forgot. I think I spoke to you about it, but the next Maggie has so few kills compared to you. You have 100,000 plus, and the next one's at like 50k. Any reason why you think that is? Do people just not kill grind Maggie?
I talked about it a long time ago. I think what happened was I kill grinded so hard I think it was season 16 when I dropped 30k. Or yeah, I think it was season 16. I think I kill grinded so hard that I feel like some people got discouraged to maybe kill grind her because they're like, oh, this guy's gonna no life it, you know. So I think that played a little bit into it, but I don't know. Like I said, she wasn't very strong when she first came out. She had a lot of like bugs and stuff with her ult, and I don't think people really understood her. So I think that's why she didn't, like a lot of people chose not to kill grind her.
Yeah, no, I get that completely. And now, quickly, before we move on to the number one Rampart in the world's tips and tricks, here are our number one Maggie's settings. They play 3-3 Classic Small Dead Zone, and they play an 110 FOV. Now, we have the number one Rampart in the world. Oops, sorry, and that's with 6 X's. They have 130,000 kills in Rampart, and are going to share with us their secret tips and tricks. And also, here are their socials. Go follow them. They're really cool. Alright, so with Rampart, what do you think is the best perks to select for her?
So for the first set of perks, I would suggest doing the cooldown for the ultimate, unless you find yourself using like a double kind of like ammo type, like double light, double heavy, double energy. Then I would suggest using like a bandolier. Then for the second set, I would say it's going to be a mix between what your guns are. So there's certain weapons like the L-Star that doesn't get the reload benefit. So if you happen to be running an L-Star that game, you wouldn't want the reload benefit perk selected because you're not getting the most out of your perk. But it is really nice to have the fast draw speed and spin up for the Sheila. Helps out a lot in a pinch, and it gives you a little more freedom in movement to do bunny hops and super glides, and just giving you a time to actually get that drawn. So I'm a little on the fence, kind of 50-50 on that perk. I'll be picking the amped reloads if I'm running, say, a G7 and a Spitfire, or running a Hemlock and a Prowler. I would be running the amped reloads. That way I can get those reloads super quick.
Well, talking about weapons, what weapons do you think are the best weapons for Rampart at the moment?
All the weapons that produce a very high amount of damage in one bullet is the way to go for Rampart. So with your snipers and your marksmen.
Is that because you just get the larger benefit from like one bullet hitting through your amped cover?
Right, so the way it works is a 20% increase in damage, but it's per bullet, so something like a shotgun, you're only getting 20% on the pellet, like the individual pellet. So if it's only hitting for 9, you only get that small little bit off of that. Whereas like a sentinel hitting you for 100, it'll do the 120. You're just gonna get a lot larger chunks for damage.
I think we spoke about this earlier, but do you recommend LMGs for Rampart because of her passive, or not really?
In a pinch, it is very nice to have. That way you can have the increased ammo to outgun your opponent and the faster reloads to keep you moving. But I don't feel like LMGs are the end-all be-all for her as like her playstyle, because her ultimate's essentially the best LMG in the game.
Okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Would you recommend ARs for her at all, or not really?
ARs are very strong, very useful, just in general in the game, so it's just going to amplify everything for her.
Exactly what I thought. Well, actually, you mentioned her playstyle just then. How would you describe Rampart's playstyle? Quickly, before we discuss the best playstyle for Rampart and then get his biggest tips and tricks for her as well, let's have a look at his stats. So here you can see overall they are a massive grinder. 160,000 kills in total, 65,000 games played with almost 10,000 wins. That's absolutely ridiculous. This season, they've already got 1.5k games played with 300 wins as well. Absolutely and utterly nuts. And there you go, 129,000, almost 130,000 kills in total on Rampart.
So her playstyle is kind of like a choose of what you want. You can control the fight by anchoring yourself into a location, not allowing your opponents to move around through a building or a direct open high ground or something like that. But being able to push your opponent and put them in a situation where they're stuck in a building, and that way you can have control of doors and shooting inwards on them is going to be very helpful. So she can be defensive and control, and then be aggressive but still control the situation.
Yeah, that's what I like about it so much. I feel like it's the same for most other control legends as well, like Caustic and Watson. They can do exactly the same. They can dictate fights, they can be defensive and hold an area, but they can be aggressive by controlling the fight. It's so nice. Rampart's, like, I think I was saying to you earlier, Rampart's potential to reset in a fight is just so insane as well. She's so fun.
Absolutely. Great team legend.
What do you think of Rampart overall at the moment? Do you reckon she's like a really strong legend? Do you reckn she needs some buffs or some nerfs? What are your thoughts about her overall?
Overall, I think she is a very solid legend, kind of like an A kind of legend. More so of like a B tier kind of legend. Her kit, I would like to see her passive get adjusted more to be more viable, whether it's just for her or more team oriented, because I would like to see her more of kind of like a teammate playstyle legend where it offers things to the team.
But more like maybe Ballistic's ult, where if it like offered like the the boost to like everyone around her or something.
Right, like maybe Rampart's able to craft up a Rampart mod and she's able to give those to like her teammates, create Rampart weapons basically.
Could be really cool, actually. That's a really cool idea. I like that. All right, most importantly, like, the most important question, what do you think of Rampart's heirloom?
Pretty decent heirloom. I kind of wish it wasn't just a wrench because it's hard for me to enjoy the lasers that are on the back and like the glowy parts, but the animations are so good. It like has so much life, so much energy, matches her personality and her character so well.
Yeah, I agree. I personally love it. I think it's one of my favorites, so I completely agree. So what would your top, say, 3 tips be for Rampart?
Practice her walls as much as possible, whether it's you're placing 1 down in an angle or placing 2 down, and then keep working and building upon that as like your base of learning her walls. Because I try and find myself in a situation and I estimate how many walls I might need for the situation. So most of the time I find myself only ever needing 2 walls in a fight, and then using the cooldown on her wall for the next 2 walls to be for the next fight. So a lot of times you just get thirded over and over again. And a lot of people don't know how to cooldown Sheila still. I noticed that when going through multiple streams that like player base doesn't understand that you can do that. But just another friendly reminder that for controller, if you press left on the D-pad with your Sheila out, it'll reset your ult energy. I think it's might be R for PC players.
But I was going to build off one that you said, one of your first tips, the first tip you said. I noticed you do it a lot when we were playing, is picking up your walls when you don't need to, when you're in a bad spot. Does that give you the full wall back, or how does that work?
As long as your wall hasn't been damaged, you can always pick your wall back up. Sometimes you might want to leave your walls around, that way you can play with all 5 walls more often.
Any more tips you can think of, or do you think that's about it?
I do know some players don't know that mobile Sheila is 1 to 2 zoom and stationary Sheila is 1 to 3 zoom. It can be very beneficial for like a long range fight.
Do you actually ever find yourself using the stationary Sheila? Not really.
I do. I do quite a bit because I feel like I was very invested in the stationary Sheila when it first was just Sheila.
Yeah. Alright, well, I got more questions more based for you. How did you originally get into Apex?
One of my friends just told me one day, like, hey, you gotta check out this fun game. Everyone's gonna be playing it. And I was like, okay, checked it out. And I was like, this is really cool. It's kind of like Mortal Kombat, but like fight for your lifestyle. And just stayed into it. Super cool game.
I vibe that. What was your reasoning for maining Rampart and kill grinding Rampart so hard?
So in like season 5, all my friends had their mains and stuff. And I never really had a main. I played all the characters. So I just started telling everyone, like, I'm going to main the Season 6 Legend, and it happened to be Rampart.
Do you have any goals in the future? Do you want to do, like, a big, ranked push, or do you just want to keep grinding kills in Rampart? Anything in particular like that?
Some near future goals, I do want to do, like, maybe like a 20,000 or 25,000 kills, maybe try and, like, set the record for most kills in a season on Rampart. I do want to do a season where I only do rank, so essentially my first time going for Pred would be, like, something that I want is a good rank system with really, really good rewards, because I don't want to play the system the whole season without it being rewarding.
Last question, but most important question. I think I've seen you tweet about this a few times. I think it was you at least anyway. You want a skin for the Sheila?
Oh, yes, please. Yes, please. I just want the Sheilas to match her skins. Just have the color patterns that match. I'm looking at the lava store and looking at Maggie's ball, and it looks so cool.
Oh,
It's like,
imagine
why
if there was a
doesn't-
lava Sheila. That would actually be so nice.
Yeah. Why aren't they just matching?
Are there any certain legends that counter Rampart really hard, or on the same boat, any legends that Rampart's really good at versing?
A counter to Rampart, I would probably say would be Crypto, because he just kind of destroys everything.
Would you say Mad Maggie as well?
Yeah, Mad Maggie, well, they kind of counter each other because her walls can potentially take the bullet for the ball coming in at you instead of you getting hit directly. And then the wall, if it gets stuck with a riot drill, if you dismantle your wall, it'll just completely remove it, so it's not even there anymore. And yeah, it also works with like fuse tacticals.
Oh, if it's stuck to the wall. Okay.
But you have to do it before it starts exploding and stuff.
Okay. Does it work with Arc Stars out of interest? If an Arc Star stuck you wall?
Arc Stars, it seems to be buggy. I've had it where it completely disappears, and other times if I remove the wall, the Arc Star falls to the ground and just explodes in my face. So it's something I don't really experiment with too much anymore. I just leave the wall up.
Are there any legends that she's really good at versing?
She does really good against herself, like Rampart versus a Rampart. She does counter it very well. She does excellent against a Horizon, whether they're like taking their lift or they're throwing their ult. A great way to destroy ultimates. She does a fantastic job and kind of like countering a tactical versus a tactical and an ult versus an ult.
Yeah, no, I can definitely see that. And here are the ALC settings for you to see, just in case you want to have a look at them and use them yourself. There you go. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you go drop these guys a follow. They're absolutely amazing. Drop me a sub as well, because we get to 300k by the end of the year. Face real. Keep being awesome.